Today I'm going to tell you about shooting a real-life movie about the transformation of a digital company. It's not going to be the last series, I think. So I'm going to tell you about this film, and the film crew will be present here. And I'd like to start with the presentation by one of the honorable guests. So this will be Vice President of Siemens in Russia and the Director of the Department of the Digital Production, Igor Sergeyev. Igor, can you say a couple of words on behalf of the film crew? Thank you very much. First of all, I didn't expect to be called an honorable guest. Thanks very much for inviting me to this conference. It's one of the most important for the industry. Adaptive industrial technologies. From the point of view of this sector, this is a great integrator, which was a pioneer and was set up for promoting digitalization idea and only for that purpose. And I think that's a landmark event because there are a lot of companies dealing with that, but this is the first enterprise responsible only for this one topic. And of course, it's obvious that one of the participants in this project is Kaspersky Lab. And I do confirm that cybersecurity for digitalization has every year a greater importance. It's growing exponentially. And the second participant in this enterprise is Siemens. Why is that? It's also one of the leaders in cybersecurity, and besides, Siemens is one of the leaders in automation. That's why Siemens also is one of the leaders in digitalization. And I always say when I talk to senior people, I'm saying digitalization, it's the highest stage of automation. Like we used to say that imperialism is the highest stage of socialism. So that's great that this new enterprise was founded. I'd like to share my insights of the last couple of years. I want to tell you that digitalization is not relations between a buyer and a seller. This is something important for people working in one team because we don't know all the details. Everyone who is present in this market, we are learning what digitalization is, and I do hope that APROTEC enterprise and all the participants of this group do find some partners, some like-minded colleagues, people who help them, people who will go down the same road towards digitalizations and towards turning Russian economy into a digital economy in the full sense. Igor, thank you very much. Before I show you the movie itself, which was shot in Kazan at one of the real enterprises, I'd like to tell you a couple of words about the context of this movie so that you understand better the general idea. And I'm going to talk about two things. Industrial cybersecurity, that's not just a new risk, that's also a serious driver for the development of very large and serious companies. Second thing, industrial cybersecurity, and here I'm talking on behalf of my own of myself, that's the way for becoming a general director. As I told you last year, I was saying that this topic gets more and more important, and I will go through this journey right now too. So a couple of words about this initiative. Initiative 4.0 rule has one of the aims to undergo through a classical transformation. And I could say that this means that we need to see this very high speed of development in IT. So all the requests for international processes, they should be implemented in just seconds. So we need to be faster and faster. But in the field, this speed is much slower. So all the physical processes are slower, and we need to make sure that technologies integrate all the processes and speed up the processes. And here, cybersecurity comes into the game. SCADA, controllers. We also need to remember about security for all these elements. What is the new paradigm which we see and which is becoming to be there in parallel with traditional systems? To make sure that speeds in two worlds, they both are very fast, we need to create the architecture which will allow us to transfer generated data using the parallel path through the gateway towards a cloud, a certain cloud. And I know what kind of cloud we are talking about. Interesting. What is that? So I'm talking about a certain vertical. Maxim, thank you. A vertical which helps us to collect a lot of data, visualize it, and as a result, it will be transformed into some commands. And it's important to make sure that at every level we do not forget about cybersecurity. Right now, one of my responsibilities is to do research, and these three areas, they all are important for me. So these areas which are highlighted new on this slide. If we want to transfer data from the field, from conveyors, from machines, from turbines, we of course have to remember about cybersecurity. Immune systems, those which have properly configured design which ensures protection. So this information will be able to be used as the basis for forecasts for decision making. Second area, with two arrows here on the slide, that's what Kaspersky Lab is doing. That's information which has been collected already. And if we want to use thousands of industrial Internet of Things data, so we need to know how to incorporate data about breached sources, and not computers I'm talking about. Controllers could also be the sources for botnet network, external botnet network. You need to know about this vulnerability and monitor it in real life. Second arrow, what does it mean here? It means that we need to understand what kind of vulnerabilities they are and know what to do with them in relation to the existing devices. As a result, we'll have the global picture of this Internet of Things, and we'll know whether it's protected and whether there are some breaches or not. Second, the third thing, such visualization applications have to be designed. They should be something in the sphere of cybersecurity, in the sphere of some new applications, and I'm going to tell you about a couple of applications when I'm showing you the video. As Igor said, this new company, Adaptive Production Technology, is only 3 months old. We have Itelma company which participates in the work of this new company. They're interested in producing a lot of industrial Internet products. They have great interest to that. We are the first partner working with MindSphere, and we start developing applications in MindSphere. And so what are the prospects for developing for us? I can name here everything related to industrial internet in terms of cybersecurity and new type of applications. So not only protection of existing SCADA devices, but we also want to develop some platforms of industrial internet. Now I'm going to demonstrate you the video, and here we are going to talk about a specific example. It's a plant in Kazan, highly innovative plant. Another person is going to join me. He also was on the film crew. So this is one of the part of the wing of an airplane, a flap, a huge number of layers made of composite material. And all these layers are necessary to produce this detail, this part of the airplane. So here you can see all the stages of production, design, digital preparation, and manufacturing of the flap. We also have digital copies as a process which is helping the real manufacturing of this process. And we are going to go through all the stages of production in this film. I will be commenting some of the most interesting parts. And I wanted to know that for me, there are 4 main elements which will ensure success. First of all, when we've just joined our composite project, we wanted to assess the level of digitalization of this company. So what's the foundation we start from? Because such analysis is always important if we want to grow. Second element, which is very important for success, is the following. We need to create the vision, create a strategy or the plan for the future. We need to know what we are going to do. And this is very important because business departments and IT units will be more successful and efficient in coordinating the activities. Third most important element in this project is the following. It's the corporate culture which leans to new technologies. And we're very happy to have Aerocomposite as our partner because all the teams, all the employees of this company are interested in digitalization and digital transformation of the company. They want to be a leading company, not only in composite materials, but also in industry in general. The fourth element, which is very important for us, and that's something that we brought in when we joined the project. So that's expertise, digital expertise. That's something what the company didn't have. That's something which what we brought in with us. And as I've said before, here on screen you can see physical and also virtual processes. You see the flap, which is inserted into this steam sterilizer, and that's something which is copied in the digital simulation of this process. It's very important that we managed to do one of the key things here. This plant had a lot of manual operations, but Now we've created a good ecosystem for that, started from design, digital preparation, planning of production, from cutting out to the later stages of production and assembling of this detail. So this was an overview of the project. I can tell you more about it if you're interested. But I wanted to note that this company is really one of the leading ones in the industry. We managed to accelerate the production 2 times and very good tracking. We know what's being done at the production site from the central control point. I don't want to go into details. So here you see the last stage, the last operation in this project, when the detail is already finalized, when it's ready. Maxim, thank you very much for your experience about the production part of this process. So we've described all the stages of automation, and we started thinking about doing something else with this data. How could they be used? That's the question we asked ourselves. And here we came back to the question of the cloud platform, which can be used when the plant has a very serious approach to cybersecurity. Because now this plant has a full digital infrastructure, and this can be quite vulnerable. When we want to change something, when something is modified, potentially this can lead to the appearance of incidents. So information is very, very sensitive. We started thinking about creating an immune device which has software by Kaspersky embedded in it. It's something we did together with Siemens, Aprotech, and Kaspersky Lab. And it was not the first project in this sphere, but it was very interesting because it was one of the best examples for the industrial use. So if we start using it within the intellectual system of industrial internet, later on we'll be able to use this product protecting interests of our customer. Right now we are designing a new service, control of the state of the tools. That can be potentially very expensive because it relates to very expensive materials, because we are talking about a plane construction industry. So we need to make sure that this data is transferred safely, and we can help them to ensure security of this data. So within these companies, there are 3 companies which locate in Ulyanovsk, Kazan, and Moscow.
We have an office center, and our customer performed a serious work on trying to reach a mutual understanding on no matter how strong is our protection in our plant in Kazan, if there is a breach in the chain, that can lead to serious consequences. If you remember the Maersk story, so it led to the need to reinstall 2,500 servers. It was part of the experiment. So we looked into the data. Data cannot be disclosed at this stage on the plant, but XX means a 2-fold increase in being free from dependence. So you see indices or numbers we can reach when in region. So for In terms of customer, that's the number of aviation units produced per year, but this can also be the number of cars, vehicles, or power generators. I wanted to show you a device. So this is a premiere, a prototype, which will be ready by the end of the year. So it has hardware and software in place. So this is like the so-called immunity gateway for industrial internet, for us to transmit data from physical infrastructure to cloud platforms. So works is underway, and Siemens company has a product line of these devices. So this is the next device to be produced for your business needs. Thank you so very much. Let's continue.